Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Line Trivia. Today I have a 3v3 in ladder match here on the most amazing new access map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 on the northeastern side of the map. And we'll end with Team 2 on the southeastern side of the map. Taking a look at Team 1. Let's go eastern side first. We have in Amethyst Purple, it is Morax. He's playing as a Cybern for this match as a 1525 rated. To his west, we have in Royal Blue, it is Taffy playing as a UEF. He is a 1768 rated. He is the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game. Overall, in rounding out Team 1, we have in Stitch Blue, it is the Seraphim of the Doctor. He's playing as a Cybern for this match. He is a 1320 rated. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have a Cybern, they have an UEF, and they have no Aeons and one Seraphim. So again, as a note, Team 1 lacks the Aeon faction. Take a look at Team 2's Western player. We have in orange color orange, it is Strider playing as a Cybern. He is a 1483 rated. To his east. We have in Cherry Crimson, it is the Billy Nuke ambassador himself, Ferv, playing as, well, the UEF. He is a 1609 rated, the highest rated player on Team 2. And to his east, in Ruby Red, we have in Omina Paratus. He's playing as the one and only Aeon of the map in Ruby Red. He is a 1481 rated. So pretty close ratings between in Omina and Strider, just 2 points off. And for Team 1's lineup, they have one UEF, one Cybern, one Aeon, no Seraphim. So Team 1 has the only Seraphim in the game, being the Doctor. Team 2 has the only Aeon, being in Omina. And for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at the reclaim situation. Currently sitting at, if I actually click the menu open, 23,000 mass in reclaim, which makes it just shy of 4,000 mass per player. Most definitely worth writing home about. The major locations of reclaim to grab is going to be in the middle of the map here and here. We can zoom in to see what that looks like. Just a large group of wrecks there. Besides that, the other major clumpage is an 800 to the west and east of that position. And then there's more dotted. Oh, there's a decent amount dotted on this upper plateau here to the southeast. Given this is a snow map, I've also enabled the mexes on the minimap just to make it a little bit easier to see it, because at least for me, it's kind of hard to see, well, the most of them, to be fair. But in terms of major locations of mexes as well, we do see Team 1's Taffy's moving into a quad mix position right here. He's not going for it just yet. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And then to the more west-ish, there's a almost a trimix position. I bet you probably could stand here and grab all 3 maybe. So that's a trimix position in my opinion. But besides that, they're pretty much it. Oh, and I forgot there's also one back here. So there is some mexes in the back line to kind of grab. Most of it does reside in front of our players, as we normally like to see. So each of them fight over them in terms of Team 1 and Team 2, and sometimes between teammates, but usually it's between the different teams. We do see Transport dropped off some units from Morax. We do see a nice little Hunter. Yeah, Hunter is online just to act as a very, very small ghetto gunship. Reclaimed does go nice for Team 1, be able to grab most of it before Team 2 destroys pretty much all of those engineers. Engineers still able to get a couple more racks out of it, but it looks like Team 1 got a little bit more of the lion's share of that reclaim. As well, kind of obvious in terms of the map, there are 2 sections of water. Well, as much as it's nice to see water in this map, the only thing I have an issue with is really, I don't think it's going to play that much of a role. We do see Team 2 is actually getting Navy on both sides. Team 1 hasn't dipped their toes in just yet. I'll actually scratch that. Morax going for his. But realistically, yeah, I mean, it's kind of out of range. Morax's base from the water. Maybe some cruisers could reach that. Granted, on the eastern side for Team 2, it's Aeon, so no cruiser missiles on board is what I'm really referring to. On the western side, it is Cybern, same situation, except, well, there's no base over there, or at least main base. So realistically, it's it will probably make some impact on the map generally, but in terms of going after main infrastructure, I don't think it'll really do that much. It will deny, of course, this set of mechs is here, and then maybe clip a couple of these. At least I'm at the T2. T3 stage will most likely reach the main base, but I'm referring to just T2 as of right now because that's a big focus, of course, of the Navy is the T2, getting the cruisers, getting the destroyers online, because that's really when things start to kick off in Navy. Speaking of kicking off, we have 2 players from each team in the middle of the map. We have Team 1's the Doctor and Taffy facing off against Ferv and Strider. The players from Team 2 a little bit on the western side. Oh, and I will note, in Omina is here as well. Team 1 is kind of missing Morax, but he's back here, so he's not that far away from the front line. But it is nice to see in generally everybody to some degree has made it towards the middle of the map. So we should see some Convicom action here shortly. Maybe, maybe not. We do see some subs inbound from Team 2's in Omina. And guess where they're going? 1 sub is online, and it's only going to come down to damage at this point. It's just how many shots can you rain in on your opponent before you are defeated. T1 torp launch is being built right behind the facility to act as a nice little buffer, but unfortunately those subs are unable to get to it in time, and I think one of those subs at a bare minimum is going to be destroyed. That is not going to be great for that one, and I don't think that naval facility is going to be denied as engineers move to a different location to try to establish more defenses. Western side, similar thing. We do see some subs online for Strider going after the Seraphim facilities over here. We do see that Taffy does have access, not Taffy, excuse me, the Doctor has access to Seraphim technology cruiser missiles. So if he gains control of that western side of the map, it should favor Team 1 a little bit, and it probably will reach that base for the most part. And I don't know the exact range, but again, it's just a rough estimation. We do see guns started for both Team 1 and Team 2 in the middle. We have Ferv going for his gun and Taffy going for his. It is going to be a UEF versus a UEF affair in that regard. We'll see who comes out ahead. We do see tons of hover tech inbound from Team 2's in Omina, and at this point, you know, it's not looking good for that naval facility. 1 frigate is coming online, and again, more torpedo launchers are nice to have. Problem is, however, isn't affected by torpedoes, so that facility is not going to last much longer. Gun is almost done for Ferv. Team 1's Taffy finishes his gun, and we do see that Inomina is pushing a little bit in with his commander. I did see that Strider was over there, but looks like he's fallen back a little bit. But the forces from Ferv go northward, moving in to intercept a couple of mexes from Team 1. And back to the Aurora on the eastern side of the map. They have reached the main facility in the water from Team 1. We do see there is a nice little gunship online, nice little Stinger second gunship online. They are trying to get rid of that Team 1 naval facility as fast as possible. It's going to be close. Ooh, just barely. Nope, never mind. Frigate comes in and says absolutely not. And Team 1 is denied Navy for a little bit. There are 2 players here from Team 1 right next door, so I feel like Navy will come back online here shortly. But it does delay Team 1 at a bare minimum. So we'll see how that ends up playing in Team 2's favor for now. In the middle of the map, sensor package started for in Omina. Probably would like that either a little bit in the water or just with more stuff around him, or both. But it's going pretty quickly. But it's just one of those things where it's why take the risk of being caught, essentially. But we'll see what ends up happening to him. T2 started on board Ferv. There it is. The Nuke, sorry, the TML precursor is coming online. I see desperation in your eyes. A little bit of some taunting going down from Team 2's player, who's again sitting on the shoreline going for a sensor package upgrade. Gunships are inbound from Team 1, and they're going to rip apart, I guess, none of the Aurora that are sitting on the water. They're moving into the facility. T2 has almost been finished, and I do not think it... the interceptors are here from Ferv. Interceptors from Team 1's. The Taffy are inbound. Gunships. Oh, they're not going after the facility. Oh, I feel like that's such a missed opportunity. Oh, they probably could have killed off the facility. Didn't need to go after the engineers, but I feel like they might get it anyways. Oh, there it is. T2 Navy has been denied for Team 2. So both players on the eastern side have lost. Navy Team 1 has T2 on the western side. Same thing with Team 2 Strider. So there's T2 Navy soon to make an appearance. Speaking of which, oh, Team 2's in Omina Control Ks? There was hardly any units nearby. A couple of Wagners, but nothing too crazy. Looks like there was a couple of units. Looks like he control K'd just to deny the kill for Team 1. It looks like he was swarmed by those forces. So at 12 minutes on the clock, Team 2 loses a player. And it's now a 3v2 in favor of Team 1. But everything goes over to Furv, so he has double base online, producing 147 mass per second. Wagner's pointed out by Inomina. Yeah, that's probably why he control K just to do as much damage to the forces nearby is my guess. But, you know, there's only so much you can do. And facility being restarted. I'm assuming that's going to be the second T2 Naval headquarters that just got immediately denied. At least the T1 one did by that bomber. Nice grab there. Kills off 4 engineers. Prevents the construction of that facility. Team 1's Eastern player going for T2 Navy, so he's going to try to get there as fast as possible and try to deny Team 2 Navy. Again, like I pointed out earlier, there's a lot of investment in Navy, and yeah, we'll determine maybe the edges of the map, but the core, essentially the main 3 bases from Team 1, maybe Morax's base will be affected by Navy to a degree, but the other 2 are going to be fine. Maybe you could argue you get a cruisers up here, maybe that's in range, but it's such a limited environment that it's just not kind of viable. Speaking of limited environments, Team 1 probably about to lose their T2 Naval headquarters. We do see a destroyer is online, but there are a couple of destroyers ripping apart the rest of the facilities for the Doctor. And there is a nice little mermaid trying to obfuscate Team 2's forces over there on the western side. And looks like the remaining players from Team 2 have fallen back a decent amount, so no conv action has happened yet. There's still plenty of opportunities for it to happen later on in the game, but for now, it has not happened. Let's see, back to the naval engagement. Looks like the destroyer maybe will submerge and try to hide. Nope, he's staying above the waterline, so that way he can keep using that laser on board that weapon system on board that ship. There's now 3 destroyers versus 1. Again, a lot of the shots from these destroyers are missing just because the units are really trying to do their best to be accurate, but the rounds are simulated, so there is always a chance for missing. We do see a torp bomber online trying to go after the destroyers. The destroyers do have torp defense on board, but they can't prevent all, I was going to say rounds, but all torpedoes from reaching their intended target. And you can see the destroyer constantly spinning around. It does have, of course, its own torpedoes on board. And the laser weapons, for some reason, still not activating. There they go. Now they're giving orders to fire. It was weird that they got that close without not firing. You do see a nice little T2 gunship just gets immediately denied by some interceptors and a cruiser. And that first destroyer is down. It's 3-1. We do see some hover tech augmenting those forces for Team 1, so that should buy enough time for the Doctor to get more facilities back online. At least T1s to get some frigates and some maybe subs to just push back Team 2 a smidgen. Eastern side, T2 Navy is back online for Furv. Well, actually, now it's online because technically it was denied. But it was close enough to being denied. Anyway, long range boom is starting here for Furv, so he's going for his missile launcher on board. It's not the big kaboom. It's just the boom, and Morax is sitting over here with gun on board, hanging out next to his facility for now. Again, he is in the air. He has T2 air online. That hasn't gone for T3 yet, but T3 has been completed by Team 1's Taffy. So we have T3 and T2, and maybe T2 over here shortly, because every naval player needs their own air, at least T2 air, T2 air, T3 air, and T2 land. So it looks like it's exact mirror of one another. No variance in strategy there. But speaking of variance, we do see a lot of forces still here from Team 1's the Doctor pushing in. And he has a lot of Ilshis mixed in, has a decent amount of Thams, couple of Selens for whatever reason that they're there. I guess distraction units at a bare minimum. Not a lot of forces on the ground for Team 2. And Team 1 is winning the ground game quite nicely. They have the 50% mark and then some under their control. So we'll see how much mass increases they will get here shortly, because Team 2 is in the lead for now, but that doesn't mean they'll stay in the lead forever. Another facility is denied. Team 1 still has the headquarters. They still have that for now, but at least in terms of keeping forces online, it's just not looking good. And there's that destroyer just getting destroyed by the destroyers of Team 2. And lots of shots are missing, but they are sending lead down range. And there goes that another destroyer. That one just newly minted. It's just back and forth and back and forth. Team 1 gets maybe 2, and then one gets destroyed immediately after. Then they just can't seem to get a force online or keep it online to save them. But they did wipe out a destroyer, so that is even the odds out a little bit. But new one online for Team 2. Anyways, and the cruiser can fire on naval and ground targets. So there is that to consider. Cybern versus Aeon. So it's projectile versus projectile. No laser weapons, of course, for Team 2, because they don't have Seraphim. But to be fair, they do have laser weapons in the T3 department for Ferv, with him having access to UEF tech. Gunship online. It is a T3 broadsword, so very, very powerful. And of course, Ferv on the front line, gun, T2, and missile on board. So not going to be super easy to kill unless you just get swarmed, which that was what that force tried to do. And looks like he killed off a couple of stuff. Actually, those actually just look Control K'd, actually, because there's no other Rex nearby. And it looks like the facility is down for Ferv, but really only had Mexes here, and looks like a TMD. So really, he didn't lose a lot, but he did lose some mass nonetheless. And Team 1 is now officially in the lead for income at 414 versus Team 2's 375. And to the north, T2 Navy will, for Team 2's Strider, be defeated for Team 1. He's been fighting a battle back and forth constantly for the past, let's say, 6 or 7 minutes. Oh, but scratch that. Maybe Caster just cursed him. The facility almost died, but looks like Team 1's forces were able to drive away the destroyers, and the engineers saved the facility. Ooh, that was very close to being killed off. So nice recovery there by the doctor. Changed the engineer focus from the unit that was being built to the facility and saved it. And with that, that actually buys him enough time to get another destroyer online before that one is inevitably... Oh, it's already gone. Never mind. Well, it was there moments ago. Eastern side, not a lot of Navy for either player, just because, again, this facility was destroyed, and then it was destroyed technically a second time. Or denied, I should say, not destroyed, but more destroyers coming online. Not a lot of forces here. We see a couple of them stacking up for Ferv. He's sending some spy planes along the edge of the map to stay out of range of any sort of AA near the shoreline. Definitely a nice move there. Speaking of intel, this is what Team 2 can see on Team 1 side of the map. Crush says somebody from Team 2. And then this is what Team 1 can see on Team 2's side of the map. So there is some decent scouting going on from both teams. I feel like Team 2 might have a slightly more ahead lead on that, but not by much. And speaking of slightly lead, it was a little bit less than that, but Team 1's in the lead definitively now at about 70 to 80 mass a second. Still Navy back and forth. Hovertech really saving the Doctor's facility on that western side. Couple of forces down the middle. We see a couple of Loyalists coming online. No Titans yet that I've seen from Team 1 yet. And if you haven't voted in the poll on the channel, it is still going on. I think currently Pantheon is leading the Titans. There were some good suggestions in the comments of the poll. I think Temple was one that I saw. There was another one, and those are good. I'm going to keep those in the list that I have going for names of groups of units. But hopefully you have one that you enjoy more than the others, or maybe you don't have an opinion on it. And if you haven't voted, go ahead and do so. You still have at least 3 or 4 more, I'd say 3 more days at a bare minimum to get your vote in. So please go ahead and do so. We haven't seen a group named... I haven't been able to use a named group yet in this cast, just because there haven't been that many Percys or Othams or Harbingers or Bricks. It's just been gunships And it's been naval units. That's really about it. But gunships really wreaking havoc on those engineers. And I think this time, maybe if the caster doesn't curse him a second time, we'll be able to wipe out this facility and deny Navy entirely for Team 1. We have a lot of ASF, speaking of which, online. They come in just a little smidgen too late. And that facility is denied. Again, there's still a lot of hover tech raining in from the Doctor, but again, all these forces going this way are not going this way, and that makes a difference because Team 2 realistically hasn't really needed to build a whole lot on the front line here. A couple of gunships, FERVs here, a couple of forces, nothing really too crazy on the front line for Team 2. So Team 1, had they send all of those hover tech forces this way, or even just invested in Ilshis or even Othams, they might be able to wipe out a little bit more. But again, it's the, do you sacrifice Navy or do you sacrifice land? And at this point, Team 2 doesn't care about land, at least to some degree, so you might as well sacrifice land. But there is some forces still sitting here for Morax, which he's doing Navy and a little bit of land and air, and I feel like he could probably get by with just doing 2 of the 3 things, not all of the 3 things, but that's just my 2 cents. Air grid being expanded upon for Taffy in the north. We should see the same thing for Team 2's FERV. My middle mouse click is acting up, not as responsive. Well, didn't mean to do that. Not as responsive as I would like for whatever reason, so maybe I'd need to get a new mouse or something. Mouse is a couple years old, nothing too old though, but it's just acting up. Maybe I just have to update the drivers or something. That's probably what it is. It is working. It's just not as not as effective isn't the word that I would use, but it's just not as responsive. Usually I click and that's it. And I did it that time, but other times it's just giving me a hard time. So just be aware that I'm having some malfunctions with my mouse, but that is just the par for the course sometimes. Destroyers being destroyed, destroyers being destroyed. That is par for the course with the navies between Team 1 and Team 2. We do see Morax going for more cruisers, more. FERV is on his doorstep, literally just pounding on the front door saying, let me in, let me in. 1 more destroyer's online. That's gone. And now it's just the ripping apart of the remaining forces. I do like the mixture of some Team 1 attack subs and the T2 destroyers because you get torp defense from both and you get torpedoes from both. At least you should get torp defense from both. No, oh, the Sylphs don't get torp defense. That's interesting. I thought they did. Maybe not, but the T2 Naval Headquarters is going to be denied for Team 1 in the east now, and Morax is getting out of there because of the torpedoes on board the remaining forces from Team 2. Oh, another destroyer is down. All it's going to take is a couple more shots, but torp bombers are inbound. Maybe they can save that facility. ASF's inbound. Not a lot online for FERV. He's getting out of there immediately. And that does allow a couple more destroyers inbound. The engineers really keeping that T2 Naval Headquarters in line. 2 destroyers remain, and they might actually save it. We will see. ASF's engaged just south of that position. FERV's just getting wiped out by Taffy. Granted, he's only up about a squadron or so, so it's really not that much. But again, 1 squadron, at least this early in the game, can make a difference, especially for maybe encouraging somebody to go for Strat Bomber. So there is that to consider. Team 2's FERV does have double base. He isn't producing the most mass in the game, though. It's actually his teammate of Strider at 300 mass per second. But actually, he's at 350. But collectively for Team 1, they're in the lead at a little over 100 mass at 700 together, with Morax and Taffy very close to one another, 275, 300, roughly. And there we do see 1 destroyer decide to stretch his legs figuratively and literally, and is wishing that he didn't do so, and is wishing that he was still water bound. We do see those torp bombers doing a good job of keeping the remaining forces from FERV back. The facility is saved. That is the second time that a T2 Naval Headquarters was saved by the engineers from Team 1. So those engineers definitely need a pay raise and then some. Hopefully they get one sooner rather than later. We do see more ASFs coming online. Some of them moving in, some of them stacking up. Those are actually spy planes. So just you can forget the words that I just said. But he is getting some aircraft online one way or the other. Spy planes have their usage, of course. Kind of surprised we don't see T2 flat coming online for FERV down here. Looks like it's just Team 1 engineers. That's probably why. He's getting, looks like, more cruisers now online. is able to fight back the ASFs and the other things from Team 1. Looks like the Interceptors really want to engage, but looks like they're all bingo on fuel, and it's just not fun. Looks like more destroyers from Team 2 actually are down here, and the Hovatech coming in nicely, getting in around those Salems. The Salems cannot shoot 180 degrees, so they kind of have this kind of cone of, not cone, but kind of this curve of they can't shoot stuff, kind of like Neji from Naruto. If you I think some of you would probably understand that reference. It's been a while since I've watched Naruto. I think it's Neji that has that, little, well, essentially slice of 360 degree coverage that he doesn't actually get to cover from his ability. Again, it's been a while since I watched the show, but I just remember there being a weakness to that. And 27 minutes on the clock. Team 1 has 3 players left, sitting at 760 mass. Team 2 at 2 players left, only losing in Omina. And they're sitting at 735. So again, the mass actually not really that bad one way or the other in terms of leading or being behind. Team 1 does have a lot of forces on the front line now. Looks like Morax maybe heard me from beyond the grave through the ether being like, oh yeah, probably should get some ground forces online. And is pushing in with a lot of loyalists and not that many bricks. Is that a Percy or 2 I see? Yes, it is. Walking around for Ferb. Not a lot of them online for Team 2, and definitely don't group them again. I don't remember if they have AoE. It doesn't look like they do. It looks like they do have AoE. It looks like it. They don't actually have it, I think is what it actually is. But that missile's raining in. There is missile redirect systems on board those loyalists. And as long as there's a TMD, yep, he's fine. If this was a Bowie nuke, he would need a little bit more protection than that. And Morax is happy about something, probably about the missile redirect that he just did. That's what I would assume. Gunships online as well for Team 1's Taffy. Both the UVF players in the game are in the air department, so there's broadswords v broadswords, no restorers or whalers that I've seen just yet. Anything else surprising? Team 3 air is online for Strider, though, and he's going for, looks like more pigeons, more power, more stuffs to power his other things. Lots of air staging facilities to refuel, rearm, and repair those gunships, and Team 1 is completely knocked out of Navy on the western side. Team 1 still has a presence. They get a second facility, and it's UEF. That's nice to see. Looks like he got some engineers donated over from Taffy. He's going to be able to get those cruisers online, and that's going to give him a lot more breathing room. We do see a decent amount of engineer hover online. Not a lot of offensive, more just, hey, we can move in and reclaim stuff. Speaking of reclaim, 38,000 on the map, so not terrible, but it looks like it's mainly on Team 1's side of the map that I can see. So in terms of reclaim totals, Team 2 is in the lead. So if Team 1 were to scoop up their side of the map, they probably would be in the lead. It would be very, 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 very close to it. There are lots, oh, that's a lot more than I thought, of destroyers inbound. There is some flak nearby from the cruisers. Cruisers are trying to get so close, but it's just, I don't think it's that worth it. There's a lot of AA, not a lot of AA, I should say, from Team 2 there. Probably need some engineers to just build some flak, just something nearby, because if Team 2 is going to continue to attack on this vector, they might as well go for it. I mean, they are pretty close to the main base for the Doctor, and that's probably what he's trying to go after. The problem is if he goes around like he tried to do earlier, he's going to have the same problem. The gunships will come in and sweep him and kick him back out. So he really has to focus on one point, and that's a gift and a curse. He can concentrate all of defenses in one location, but that means Team 1 only has to concentrate all of their defenses and attackers on one location as well. We do see lots more destroyers online for Team 1 in the north. Cruisers and destroyers mixing it up here for Team 2's Ferb. We have some torp bombers trying to get close, but gets immediately denied. And it's going to be a little bit more of a slug. It almost was a clean sweep from Team 2, but again, those engineers really came through. And the ASF's starting to stack up quite nicely for both teams. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't, because why not? Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. The channel appreciates it. I appreciate it. My wallet appreciates it. I think everybody appreciates it. So again, thank you so much. We do see Ferb with the pew, 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 pew online. And that means it has one key because I got one kill. I think that was his missile that he ended up shooting down. No Billy Nuke yet. No T3. Ooh, T3 and T3. It isn't doing anything, but it's there. I feel like this would be better off there. Honestly, it would probably be better off over there because of the Neptune, because of the cruiser, because of the everything else. But kind of surprised he's not building anything with it. He could build cruisers with it and not build the Cybern one, so he gets the missile tech online. Still, the hover from Team 1, mixing it up with now some Othams. It's not enough for an order, or a side order at least, but it's enough for something. We do see, again, the Salems are good. They're kind of very similar to Fat Boys, where they're really, really good long range, and they have a decent amount of utility, especially with their walking on the land nonsense. But they just, when it's a direct conflict situation, you see for yourself. Look at how many dead destroyers there are. We see lots of facilities being built up for reclaim purposes. Othams are going to be able to push at least the majority of Team 2's forces back in the water, but there is a nice little galaxy online. That's not going to help things, but obviously don't shoot your own forces because that's not a fun day either. Don't want to fill out paperwork for friendly fire. There we do see the cruisers are coming online for Strider now. Maybe he paused it for power related. Ooh, he's going, okay, well, he's going for air now. So both of the players for Team 2 going in air in some department. We are crossing the 32-minute mark, which means players definitely, okay, you've already thought about how to win this game. Nuke is online, not loaded, but pretty darn close. And Team 2, the most important question, nope, they don't know about it. Not good, which means do they have an SMD? Will you go away, Matt? Thank you, Mass Fat Panel, for going away. Do you have an SMD? Yes. Is it loaded? No. Do you have an SMD? No. Oh, look, there is a nuke being built by Team 2 as well. So there is that. Does Team 1 know about that? Probably not, because it looks like it's a new development. Oh, no. They have spotted it at some point, which means once it's built, the icon will appear. It'll be easily spotted. And they have spy planes inbound, so that's also going to help spotting the thing. Anyways, still not done? I thought it was done. Oh, it's almost done. That's what it is. And spy planes are inbound, going to get a readout for that nuke that's going to launch here shortly. And that's a lot of them from Team 1, just making sure that they know exactly what's going on. Oh, they don't go west. Oh, that's such a missed opportunity. But again, there's the radar signature icon, so they definitely know about it. They know where the SMD is at a bare minimum. And that will probably be ignored because they're going to go after the air grid and the nuke from Team 2. Strider, the nuke is almost loaded. This nuke might be the single most important thing of the game. If they can wipe out an entire base, that could really set Team 1 on a path for victory in either the Navy or the land or the air or the sea or the everything else. Monkey Lord online. Charge of Percy's inbound. Wall section of Percy's wall section of bricks inbound. And it's a huge back and forth. We do see, of course, a couple of Salems. They're like, hey, we want some of the action. Come over here. Come this way. Be distracted by us. 34 minutes on the clock. Still no Convicom action that I detected. I don't think that happened, in the beginning of the game. And, of course, Omina has been killed off earlier in the game. So, realistically, I don't think Convicom action is going to happen. We do see Ferb is going to get in the water and hide. Definitely a smart play there, especially with that Monkey Lord running around and ASF soon inbound. Maybe gunship stacked up somewhere? No. But again, he does have the nuke, so he's probably putting more mass into that Team 2's Navy on the eastern side for Ferb. Not looking too good. Those cruiser missiles probably really coming in handy for going after the facilities. There's the nuke. I was wondering when it was going to show up. The question is, where is it going? Well, that's a little disappointing, just a smidgen. SMD is loading, and honestly, it might actually load in time. I'll try to keep an eye on it as I look for things around the map to look at. And that yellow bar is getting closer. That nuke, I honestly think it might actually get shot down. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to come into range here shortly. It is now within range. And it is shot down. Very unfortunate for Team 1. Very, very unfortunate. And he's like, sad face. Yes, it is sad. SMD is not loaded, but it's half loaded. So it should finish before Team 2's nuke. And he is getting some shields online to protect the nuke and himself and part of the air grid. So that's lovely to see there. Wish it's more shielding, but hey, some is better than none. and Nuke is being decently assisted by Team 2. I don't think, like I said, it'll load faster than Team 1's SMD will load. So there is that. There's also an SMD over here, which that is already loaded, so there's no chance it's going over here. And this would be the only choice. You could try and get the nuke, but again, if/when the SMD finishes, it's not going to matter. Because again, you got to also time for the nuke being launched and going up in the air and going across the map and then going down, and that gives a little bit more time for Team 1, as we saw Team 2 be able to capitalize that and survive the nuclear explosion. We do see, again, cruisers for the UEF side of things mixed in with the Cyberin destroyers. And again, it's going after the facilities, which is slowly being eaten away by the missiles. And it's not going to matter. Ferb is not going to be able to keep that facility online long term. Those engineers, again, even if Team 1 doesn't get the victory here, those engineers for Team 1 were definitely an MVP for sure, regardless, like I said, of the outcome. What the heck is this? So Team 2 has won its Battle of Navy over there for the past, 10 minutes now? And now they're just going to walk Navy over there. Just why not? Why not just build facilities over here, give control over to Strider, and then he build them? I feel like that'd be a lot easier than just literally walking them over. And the monkey looks like we're going to flee away from the very slow-moving Salems. Right. Anyway, Team 2's Navy is now gone on the Eastern Front, and now they are exposed. But again, both teams have won the sides of the map that are further away from the main bases. Team 1 won the eastern side. The closest base, of course, once belonging to Inomina. And Team 2 won the western side. The closest base is the Doctor's base with the SMD that I keep talking about. Speaking of SMD, how's the Nuke doing? Nuke is almost there. Don't like where he's standing. Definitely needs a shield to protect himself and the Nuke, just like Team 1 Taffy has done. He's loading a second one. He's actually almost done with it, so he's pretty darn close with that second nuke. Does Team 2 have more SMDs places is the question.
Strategic launch detected.
Oh yeah, it's right here. No, he named it pew 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 pew. Of course he did. And is there a second SMD? No, there is not. He is firing that nuke. Do not tell me you're going for the... I mean, again, you can clean out the Navy, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You might as well just clean this out, which probably would be a little bit better because there's 4 mexes here, one of which is the T3. And maybe you would actually push the Microloid into range of the nuke, and you would actually cancel the crab that's being built. Not kill it off, but you would cancel it at a bare minimum. Nuke is inbound. I'm going to check on that in a second. Microloids re-upping their attack against the wall section and the Microloid. Here comes the nuke. It is going to land. Is going to get both of them. It is. Boom. T2 Naval Headquarters are offline. Team 1 has already won Navy. They're getting AA emplacements all around. Are they getting SMDs too? Not SMDs. Are they getting TMDs too? No? No? Okay. Well, they're getting something, which is probably better than nothing, which it actually probably most definitely is. Cruisers in the north, and they're pulling a lot of ads from Team 1's The Doctor. This is where laser tech would come in quite handily. Where is that Neptune from Team 2? Not online. I don't see one being built anywhere that I can tell. Another nuke inbound from Team 1. I appreciate the announcer telling everybody and myself that I am here. He's going... Where's he go? What? Okay. So... Just because Team 2 nuked your naval facilities does not mean you get to just nuke their naval facilities. I guess that is what that means. But again, it's the whole, you're taking out facilities that kind of matter but don't really matter because that side of the map's already been won, or that area of the map, that region, that sphere of influence is already won, and you're probably not going to get back at it. But here comes a nuke. Arguably, this is more important to take out than the other one. Because, yeah, it's aircraft carriers, and they do have AA on board, and they can produce ASFs and whatnot. The cruisers are cheaper, so they would just spam cruisers and call it a day. And they have missiles, so it's even doubly annoying. I feel like slight miscalculation on that range, maybe. And, of course, we see Strider's I'm moving out of range, and now loading my SMD next to my nuke. That's probably smart. Did FAF have a loaded SMD? He did, and he would have probably had it loaded in time. And yes, I did see the Novax. Didn't realize it's done though. So UEF doing UEF things, 40 minutes on the clock. So it's going to be a soon-to-be standard UEF affair, maybe. Lasers in the sky. Nope. Going to be lasers versus artillery. So yellow dots crossing the map versus a giant satellite or semi-giant satellite lasering stuff just immediately, kind of like a Hammer of Dawn. If you played the Gears of War series, just the laser weapon that you don't fire the laser, you fire the target locator essentially that fires the laser, that tells the laser where to fire. There we go. I got it. Like the target designator from Halo Reach, except it's a Mac Blast. Is it a Mac Blast? I think it's a Mac Blast. It's been a minute. And there is the laser crossing the map. Team 1 is definitely going to be aware of it at some point. They definitely should be able to, yep, they can see it. And this is what Team 1 can see of Team 2. They do know where the Novax is, and they do know there's a second one being built. At least they will know it shortly once the icon is actually there, if they don't zoom in. Team 2, what do you know about Team 1? Well, you're going to soon know that there's an artillery coming online. It is shielded already. Love to see that. Don't like the placement of it, only because you don't get the adjacency from the P-gens. But at least at a bare minimum, the shield is there. It's better than not having it there. So good on that didn't feel good. Those were some mass fabs that went kablooey and probably did not feel good, most definitely. In the south, second, Novax is online. He's getting another shield to protect it, and then another one. And there's shielding already over those satellites satellite stations because of the shields for the air grid. So lovely little cooperation going down there and efficiency. Again, we'll note that Team 1 has had a Monkeloid in the middle for a while now, and now they have not only one, but two crabs. That is going to be a problem. Team 2 is probably so focused on long-range stuff that they might miss that. And that Monkeloid has survived at least a couple of battles now. It's at 2-star vet. It's not going to be good for them, and Satellite is moving in. And honestly, at this point, it might just be a race to the bottom. If Team 2 can kill off all the mass income for Team 1, it might not matter. By the way, in terms of mass income, neither team is at 1,000 now. I think they may have gotten over 1,000, but neither of them are at that at this point. Team 2, okay, not 7,000. No. You don't have a magical Paragon somewhere. No. Oh, but they do have a magical Atlantis in the southern side of the map, because why not? Oh, they have two of them online. Never mind. Oh, that's Ferv, that's a lot. Ferv, that's a lot of ASFs. Sir, that's 300 ASFs. That's a lot of ASFs. Yep. That is a lot of them. Team 1, how many do you have? Taffy. Oh, you have 300 as well. And you have 23 bingo on fuel, so 300. To the north. Is that same chicken? I think that's that same chicken. I think it's a different one, but it doesn't matter. There's an experimental tide up here to the north dealing with all these annoying cruisers and aircraft carriers and destroyers, and there's Optims mixing in and whatnot. We do see some... Oh, they're going to go after the SMD. They're going to go after the SMD. Oh, they're going to go after the... Oh, they went after the com... Hey, some crash damage did some damage to the SMD. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Not enough. It has two... Yeah, he's like sad. It was a nice 1-2 punch, though, from Strider. He needed to attack, I think, from this side. Granted, that main shield really kept things online. There's another shield coming online. They know it's inbound. There's also a Fat Boy being built. Oh, just... It was so close. Oh, it was so close. Had the satellites been there in position, it could have been taken out. But the nuke from Team 2 will be taken out instead. That would have been a kill for Team 2, maybe, if the SMD was wiped out. Doctor would have moved. Maybe he wouldn't have. But Team 1, look at this. We have 3 experimentals. If you want to count 4, there's one up there. And they're not a charge in the front line. I mean, that's enough Perseus to one-tap a Monkeloid. Not enough Perseus to one-tap a Megalith, that's for sure. There's a couple more over here. There's a couple charges of Perseus for Team 2. There's 3 charges, almost closing in on 4. But there's really not that much. Unless you think 40, that's a decent amount. It is a decent amount, but for 3 experimentals, it's not that bad. Oh, do not tell me you're blowing up those experimentals after make a comment about it. Oh, look, there's a GC online. That's the thing. Nuke is inbound. If it lands short, it's not going to matter. And if it tries to go long, it's not going to matter. Oh, let's see. Did he launch it short? Oh, he's going to grab at least a couple of forces, open a door. But I don't know. It kills off half a charge, I think, at least, of some Perseus. I don't think that was really enough for a nuke, though. But it's a nice little opener. Probably should have moved his Megalith and Monkey Lords a little bit sooner to kind of capitalize. Again, this is the 1-2 punch kind of scenario. 45 minutes on the clock. Satellites haven't pierced the shielding for the artillery or the SMD or the nuke. They've wiped out a couple of mass FAFs, wiped out a chunk of the air grid. That's not good. And now they're going after the mexes here for Taffy. And I do think it's going to be just a starvation. They wiped out an SMD. That's what they were going after. Now the satellites can go somewhere else. Ooh, there isn't it. Ooh, it's close. I think it was going right about there. Oh no, there is an SMD there. Is it? Hold on, is that not loaded? Oh, it was just newly. Uh-oh. Well, that was just newly built. And unless Taffy's SMD, I don't. No, it's not Taffy. That is the Doctor. What am I talking? Oh. Oh, okay, hold on. Let's look at the range. Oh, there's an SMD there. I missed that one. Oh, nice. Back up there. Mine is in range, question mark, says Doctor. Well, it doesn't matter because Morax was in range. I think he has another one loaded, right? Oh, he almost has another one loaded. Whereas Omni says Morax. Here comes the forces from Morax. Speaking of which, we have some Corsairs inbound. Oh, they wiped out a decent chunk of those hit points for the Monkey Lord. And there's a lot. That's a lot of bouncers. But not a lot of support on ground-to-ground operations. And and those are inbound. That's actually going to push Team 2's forces together. You know, we have the ones from the naval side of things. Then we're going to have the ground ones. We do have some ground forces over here. We have some ground forces over here. I know there's a GC. Actually, you might as well put the GC kind of on the hill there. And that Monkey Lord not going to do much. Gunships are going to back up. Corsairs are inbound. They go for the kill. And they go, oh, okay, never mind. You just killed that kill from us, so never mind. And Nuke, how we looking? Almost loaded, ready to go. Artillery has been starting. He has 2 satellites. He stopped at that. Team 1, how's your artillery doing? It's still in the yellow, but it's still progressing, though. And Fat Boy is almost done for the Doctor. Don't know if that's really useful at this point, but we'll see if it ends up being or not. And 1 GC versus 2 Megaliths, but there's a decent amount of Perseus nearby. There's a charge, and there's more of them inbound. They're cut off by that hillside there, that nice little cliff, so that's not helpful. And Corsair is going to come in a little bit more, thin out those hit points just a smidgen. You might as well actually take out the AA nearby. That would actually probably do maybe a little bit more, but now here come the gunships. The GC is dead. Some crash damage does affect the first one, not the second one. But to be fair, the second one is dead. Or almost dead. Now it's dead. And those Perseus going to be now more than enough to deal with those another experimental. There they go. And now the bouncers are being eradicated. So Team 1's advancements on the land have failed. And now they most definitely will turn to just long-range nonsense, which we love to see on the channel. But sometimes it can get a little boring if that's the only thing that players... And that's a lot of... Are you trying to shield the artillery from the satellites? Looks like the the SMD did get singed. Look at that. Why are you building E-storage right there? I feel like that's just inviting to just blow that up because they're volatile. Shield's almost back online. Okay, if the shield comes back online, that's a different story. And it does, so never mind. But still kind of weird though. I thought I heard some strats. They could have been... I don't know what they could have been, but we do see some aircraft carriers, some experimental ones hanging out in the water. Using their AA weapons. You don't really see them not demerged, but emerged from the water. You usually see them submerged. But, you know, sometimes it is nice to have that AA, but it's a lot of ASFs, though. Here come the Corsairs, and I will note that Team 2 now owns both pawns. So there is that. And Team 2 they're still being annoying. For Team 1's the doctor. They're still over here being annoying. Almost 50 minutes on the clock and they haven't gotten rid of them yet. Like, just go away. Not sure what is going on, but we really need to focus front, says Morax. I mean, when you have an army, I don't even. Okay, I have to come up with a group of Salems, like a witch. No, I can't do. A coven of a coven of Salems. I don't know. That's a pretty good one that I just came up with because it's Salem witches coven. Anyway, that's a couple of covens of witches, is what that's for sure. They're inbound, and again, they're not fat boy levels. They're not, they don't have shields on board. They're not as strong in terms of hit points. They can't produce their own units, but they can go between land and water. I mean, there is functionality with that, and not only can they go between it, they can actually still use their weapons between both environments. They just can't use their torpedo launcher on board because it's not in the water when they're on land. The artillery is almost done. ASF's just flying through lasers because why not? Looks like somebody circled something from Team 2. Looks like Strat is focusing on the SMD. There it is. Shots are inbound. The shields will not hold this time to save that SMD. And they have completed. Oh, move in, move in, move in, move in. Oh, they could have been a little bit quicker on the draw there, and would have been a good engagement. There is some bouncers nearby. It's a little bit of AA. There's still a little bit of AA from Team 2 over here. Ooh, transport with... Ooh. Sorry, that was awkward. I kind of chinksed you there. That's a lot of wreckage there everywhere. Oh, that's a lot of reclaim on the map. 193,000 is what's sitting on the map. That's a lot. We do see gunships targeting all the AA in the water, just dealing with that. Again, it's nice to deal with, so you don't have to deal with it anymore. It's not as important, but I guess that one was kind of close to the middle, so we just wanted to, again, deal with it. I say deal with it a lot, apparently. Chicken is down. Another nuke is inbound. This time it's from Team 2, and either they're going to wipe out that frontline base. They are going to go deep. The SMD is loaded, so that's not going to do anything in terms of the nuke. We've only had, what, 2 successful nuke? Well, we had 3, but one of them was kind of not as impactful. These were wiped out. These were wiped out. That's it. How different the game would have been had the nuke on Ferv's base been able to be landed. That would have been a crazy difference in the game. And Team 1 probably would have won by now, to be honest with you. And here comes the SMD. Yep. Ooh, it actually gets hit from the left, so it was in range. Was that SMD not loaded? It was. Weird that it didn't fire soon enough. And here comes the air fight we've been waiting all game for. And holy ASFs focus on the Corsairs. I think just a smidgen. And there's gunships mixed in there. Oh, it's just a clean. Ooh. Ooh. That's. Oh, that was not good for Team 1. That was a lot of ASFs dead. Team 2 sitting at 200. So let's just say both teams had 300. That's a 1 to 3 advantage, meaning Team 2 lost 1 and killed 3 from Team 1. Well played, GG's from Team 1. That might have been it. Shields are down. Gunships came in to come say hi, and they didn't take out the SMD. They didn't take out the artillery's gone now. It actually did get finished by the looks of it. Yep, they get finished. Ferv says GG. His artillery did finish as well. That probably helped out a smidgen as well. Nuke, satellites, artillery, gunships wiping out the shielding, and gunships not targeting the PGens or anything of the big sort. Nuke is inbound from Team 2 once again, and there's still that SMD over here, and it's still loaded, so it's, unless it gets killed immediately, it's not going to go anywhere. Another SMD is down. That would have been better to wipe out all this. Love all the shielding. Not a lot of stuff under the shielding, but I love it. Team 2's, Ferv wipes out Morax. Long range kaboom is done, and then Team 1 recalls before the nuke is shot down. Or is it already shot down? It's already shot down. But with the departure of Morax, Team 2 wins the game with the departures from Team 1's Taffy and the Doctor. And that's the game right there, 53 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. And the air fight was very pivotal at the very, very end of the game. It allowed the gunships to push in. And even if the air fight was still happening, maybe the gunships could have slipped in, maybe. But there was that army inbound from Team 2 nonetheless. We had Percy's mixed in with one GC and a decent amount of Salem's. So they probably would have dealt with this soon enough, and the Fat Boy maybe as well, and then would have walked in and maybe wiped out the base. So even if the air fight, both teams lost all of them, for example, I think Team 2 still had it. And there was going to be shots back and forth, but we're talking about one artillery, two satellites versus one artillery. And even with that much additional firepower, it might have been enough just on its own to wipe out at least the artillery from Team 1. But it's just one of those things where would it have mattered? Maybe, maybe not. Why is there's just that, why you don't, okay, well, T3 Naval Headquarters was built again. But anyway, in terms of MVPs, both of them got both of their navies eventually and combined a naval and ground army together. I do think Ferv getting a whole bunch of ASFs and keeping them online. Again, the air fight didn't happen until the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the game. So it was very posturing until the very end. I don't know if there's one standout player between the two of them. One went for artillery and Novax. One of them went for a nuke. Both were viable. Both did good things. Didn't attack as much of the mexes, which I guess that is one thing that those shielding did cover was all the mexes. I didn't target as many mexes as I thought, but he could have been focused on just on the SMDs, which is actually what he was focused on for the most part. But anyway, again, no standout MVP. Let me know down in the comments if you have one. Thank you so much for watching the very end of the video. As always, again, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share, do all the YouTube things that YouTube loves to see if you are so inclined. And I will see all of you in the next one.